Morning, students.
Good morning, sir.
Able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good. So let us start. Good morning, all. Today we are going to talk about cloud computing. Cloud computing is the fifth technology block we are going to talk about. We started with artificial intelligence. Then we discussed data science. Then we discussed IoT. Then cybersecurity yesterday. And today we are going to talk about cloud computing. If you observe all the sessions, we have tried to cover four major blocks: what, why, where, and how. That is how these sessions have been structured, so that you get to understand what is this technology all about, why we are going to use it, where we are going to use it, and how we are going to use it. So that is the periphery. So today we are going to talk about cloud computing. In today's session, I would request everybody models. We are going to talk about relevance, benefits, and challenges of cloud computing and what industry think. That is how we are going to talk about. So let me give you a scenario. That is where I would request everybody to start using your notepad and pen, because I'm going to ask you certain questions. So you are going to start one company in the field of, let us say, retail, with 100 employees and 5,000 global customers. This is what you are going to do. Now, spend a couple of minutes in writing down the steps which you may follow, putting the enterprise IT infrastructure in place. Now, when we talk about IT infrastructure, you need not worry about land details, other approvals, etc., etc., etc. But you need to be thinking about enterprise IT infrastructure. And what comes under IT infrastructure at the enterprise level? It is primarily PCs, networks, servers, miscellaneous software and hardware to start with. This is the bare minimum. Now, okay. So now you need to put a list of entities or infrastructure which you would like to have for your company, which you are going to start. And that company is in the field of retail, 100 employees you are going to hire, and 500,000 global customers are there. At this moment of time, just mind it, we are only talking about enterprise IT infrastructure, nothing else, nothing else. So focus your discussion to this part of it. So if you have your list ready, you can use the chat window to answer this particular question. So anybody has any idea about this? Do not try to make it complicated. Okay, so we do have first question. Please tell more about IT infrastructure. Okay, so when you talk about IT infrastructure, we are going to start one company in the field of retail with 100 employees and 5,000 global customers. Now, what is the enterprise IT requirement? That is the question in the given context. Okay, so let me give you one hint. See, when you talk about basic IT infrastructure, it is primarily, so Avishit says best hardware and software networking wireless. Go in more details, Avishit. On your screen. So when you are going to start your organization and we are talking about IT infrastructure, first thing first, you will set up your network. When you talk about network, it is primarily LAN and WAN, local area network and wide area network for global connectivity. Why global connectivity? Because you are going to serve your global customers. And that network should be having a proper access and identity management solution and firewall installed. So this is the starting point. This is the starting point. So Devanshu, we have already said that buildings, apartments, not required. We are only talking about enterprise IT infrastructure, good internet, yes, computer labs, good electricity connection, not required. So when we talk about enterprise IT infrastructure, we need to have network available. Network should have global connectivity like internet. That's what we are talking about. And when we talk about network, it has to be secured network. So that is where I need to install firewall. And when I talk about security and accessibility, I need to have IAM management solution, identity and access management solution. So slowly and slowly, when you will move into the cybersecurity space or learn about networks, so you will understand that this is one of the most important aspect of network, identity and access management. And then when you have network available, then you need to have your internal portal, your public portal, just like we have for Chitkara University.edu.in. Similarly, you need to have email servers available. You need to have messaging services available. You need to have desktops, laptops, smartphones for the employees. And then you need to manage database. When you talk about databases, so you need to serve database servers to manage the data completely. And then whole thing need to be maintained. So you need to have IT infrastructure maintenance staff on ground. So this is the starting point. Just keep a broad outlook of the slide and you will get to understand that is how we are going to start deploying our enterprise IT infrastructure. And this is done. Slowly we move to the next stage. Now think of a solution when employee base is increased from 100 to 1000 to 10,000 over a couple of years time, with a lot of employees at diverse global locations traveling most of the time. And side by side, think of a situation when the customer base is increased from 5,000 to 50,000 to 100,000 over the same period. And most of the customers require 24/7 support, online resolution of their queries, complaints, and they need to give the feedback. What changes you would do in your previous list? So this is the question you need to answer. Okay, so one answer, categorizing different type of fundamental blocks needed to complete and work on your software, dividing work between workers, working on securing the data. Devanshu says increase staff, increase storage of data. Absolutely right. Privacy should also be increased. Databases will be more complex. Absolutely right, Avishi. More thoughts. Keep on pouring in the chat window. Whatsoever you think, because this is important for us to understand where we are heading towards, and that will help us to make sure that we understand the importance of enterprise IT infrastructure. Okay, so it's suggested solution. That's what you are talking about. Increase the network limit, provide secure networks. That's what you answered very rightly. I think you are getting what we want to discuss. That is a good sign for the class. Increase the capacity of office infrastructure like email servers, database servers, etc. Okay. Now, another point. As the traffic on my website will increase multifold because my customers are increasing. So we need to ensure that website is equipped to handle the increased load also. And when we talk about increased load, we need to have WFEs in place, web front-end servers. And if required, app servers and database servers capacity need to be increased. That's how things will move. Perfect. So that is how we are slowly progressing forward. Increase the maintenance team capacity also, recruit more people, and then, okay, next stage. So slowly and slowly we are building up our team, our company, and we are enhancing our enterprise network. But here comes the global recession because of COVID. Now the company is planning to cut down on operating cost and would like to reduce the workforce from 10,000 to 6,500. Although company is reducing the workforce, but they would like to increase the customer base because they want to survive in business. So customer base is more likely to increase from 100,000 to 150,000 in couple of months, because company is planning to launch new schemes, because the company is in the field of retail. What changes you would do in your previous enterprise IT infrastructure list? This is the third question. Now, start pouring your answers. Okay. Now, as the company is downsizing, a lot of office infrastructure will become redundant. Just like current scenario. Work from home, definitely yes. Avishi, you are right. But this is the solution you are giving from a employee perspective. But let us assume that you are the owner of this company and you have already invested huge money purchasing the PCs and setting up the LAN. What you will do with that? Because that particular infrastructure will become redundant. Employees will ask for work from home. But what will you do with that infrastructure which you have already put in place physically? Are you getting my point? It will include various servers which were added when company was ramping up. All needs to be disposed of. But in parallel, I need to cater to my customers. So I need to enhance the capacity of my website. And that particular website should be available on mobile phones, on PDAs, on smartphones, so that I can cater to each and every customer. One option may be enhancing my social networking site. So I'm in a very dicey situation because my employees are not coming to office. So my IT infrastructure is redundant and lying idle. Similarly, when IT infrastructure is idle, I need to downsize my IT maintenance staff also. Next stage. After 2 years or so, hopefully 2023, hopefully 2022, recession is over, COVID is done. And now again, I am ramping up and I'm trying to increase my staff strength, and another 5,000 employees need to be inducted. Customer base is to be increased. What changes you will do in your previous infra list now? So when you were ramping up, you were purchasing infrastructure, you were putting in place, all of a sudden COVID came, no use of infrastructure, you need to dispose of, either you need to dispose of or you need to put a cost on it. And when COVID is over, you again ramping up. What changes you will do? Again, you will purchase the hardware and related software. You will ramp up the LAN WAN capacity, which was reduced last time. It means additional cost. In nutshell, repeat the whole process, whatsoever we have done till now. Is a tedious, costly process. What we can conclude? Company has been witnessing an uneven business scenario since its inception. Sometime it is purchasing equipment, spending a lot of money into that, then releasing it because there is no business demand altogether, and then again purchasing it because now business has a demand. Similarly, workforce is also unstable. That is where, as a company owner, I need certain things. I need a help. Just like outsourcing of work to different vendors, I, as company owner, is mulling over the idea of outsourcing the hardware also. What does this mean? Company wants its enterprise hardware infrastructure made available based on business requirement. When there's a requirement of PCs for 10,000 employees, 10,000 PCs should be there. If it is required for 6,500, somebody should take that particular 3,500 pieces which are redundant and serve only for 6,500. And I need that someone to maintain the whole hardware also. And Company should get hardware if business increases, and company should release the unwanted hardware if business decreases without any extra capital cost incurred. This is what I would be very comfortable if I'm the owner of this company. So infrastructure as a service. This is what company is demanding. Broadly, somebody should be there who can rent me storage space, network resources, computing resources, or other IT hardware infrastructure. And that someone who will provide me these services is called IaaS provider. This is the first concept of today's discussion. I hope you are moving along with me on this use case so that you will be able to appreciate what we are talking about. So infrastructure model. Traditionally, what happens? I need to procure something. I need to set up and install. I need to set up my data center. I need to establish processes. I need to manage and maintain. But there are a few challenges. When we talk about challenges, it is primarily based upon the business requirement, which is very, very expensive. And resizing of infrastructure is very, very risky because I don't know the demand. In that particular scenario, I need to maintain it also. So huge challenge on me as owner of this company. But if it is an IaaS delivery model, pick your OS, whatsoever OS you require, whatsoever firewall you require, whatsoever routers you require, whatsoever load balancing you required, and you are set. Somebody will help you out as per your demand, as per your requirement, as per your requirement. So when we talk about the benefits of IaaS delivery model, you can rent the complete IT infrastructure components. What are those components? Those components are servers, networks, components, storage, capacity, etc., either in public or in private. I'll talk about these two keywords in next few minutes. And whatsoever you rent, you pay for it. You pay for it. There is no cost of maintenance altogether. Somebody will take care of it. And you can have a single server or you can go for the entire data center. As you meet your infrastructure demand dynamically. Today you need 100 PCs, 100 servers, 100 servers will be available. Tomorrow you need only 50, 50 will be released. Day after tomorrow, 75, only 75 will be there. So it is fast and reliable service. That is where IaaS delivery model is very, very important. Who provides it? Lot of people are using IaaS services, but major players who are providing that particular service are Amazon, AWS, Amazon Web Services, IBM, Google, Citrix, VMware, Rackspace. Lot of players are there. Microsoft. And then when these players are there who can help us rent out the IT infrastructure when it comes to servers, operating systems, and all that, it is very, very easy for us. Let us move to the next step. When we talk about infrastructure, which is outsourced as a service to the external vendor, now company is thinking to automate its operation. When we talk about automating the operations, means whatsoever the data model we have implemented, we need to automate it. Data model means how data is coming, how data is getting processed, and how data is consumed, and how data is stored in the whole life cycle of my product. So there can be 3-tier architecture. One will be web application, one will be data server, one will be intermediate middle layer. That is how 3-tier architecture works. Now, what solution do you think we can implement in this particular scenario? Now, when we are talking about 3-tier architecture, all these terms you will be studying in next couple of semesters. So you need not worry about it if there are any heavy terms being used today, because those terms are technical and they have a clear meaning, but you will be learning their meaning in next 2 to 3 semesters. So you need not worry about it. At this moment of time, you should try to understand the storyline, what we are trying to weave, to understand the concept. So when we are talking about 3 tiers, I need to have web front-end servers, I need to have app servers, I need to have database servers, so that I can probably manage my automation. And when I'm in a retail business, heterogeneous customers will be coming. So heterogeneous customers means somebody will be accessing from Android smartphone, somebody will be accessing from BlackBerry, somebody will be accessing from iOS, Apple, somebody will be accessing from Windows, somebody will be accessing from Linux. So a lot of people will have a diverse periphery of applications from where they will be accessing my website. So I need to have different environments. So I need to ensure that whatsoever website I prepare should be accessible on Android phone, on iOS, on BlackBerry, on Windows, on Linux, etc., etc., etc. That is where the challenge of platform comes. So I need to purchase different environments so that I can test it out, that if somebody opens from different ID, different environments should be supported. That is how the whole thing will move. Now I'm slowly moving to the next step of implementation of my company, my organization. When I talk about IDE, one word is being used: IDE, Integrated Development Environment. You have already used IDE while programming for Python. You used one IDE. For C++, you used another IDE, which was used as development environment. That is what I need to be very clear as the owner of the company, that how I am going to manage those heterogeneous hardware and software, because those platforms are diverse, and I need to make sure that I provide a single window for my customers, whether they are accessing it from Android or iOS or Windows or Linux. So a soothing solution. Why not outsource all the system softwares also? Somebody should provide me those platforms along with licenses, and that someone should own the software licenses also along with their maintenance. And as company owner, I will pay that someone pay per use. The number of licenses I'll use, I'll pay for it. Who is that someone? Someone is PaaS, Platform as a Service Provider. That is the beauty of it, where traditionally I need to purchase that particular software, I need to evaluate, I need to install, I need to configure, I need to manage. There are many challenges. But if it is platform delivery model, you pick your app server, you pick your web server, you pick your database server, and you pick your middleware. All those things you can just rent it out. And you can go for any IDE whatsoever you want to go for. This is one model where you are renting out platforms. Benefits, you need not worry about it. Yesterday, during our cybersecurity session, we were talking about one scenario where we need to ensure that the machine, the hardware should have latest patches. But in the given scenario, when you are opting for PaaS, you need not worry about it, because the PaaS service provider will give you the latest patched hardware and software. Devanshu is asking one question: what is renting platforms? Renting platforms are primarily, let us say, you go to Microsoft Azure or AWS and rent out one web server. That is one person, that is one platform which is renting out various things. As far as my platforms are concerned, as far as my hardware is concerned, as far as my softwares are concerned, related to system. Now, there are two words I'm using. One is application software, one is system software. System software, let us say you have one laptop available, and when you are working on that laptop, the first thing first you get on that particular laptop is operating system. Operating system, either it is Windows or Linux, that is one particular system software. After getting the system software installed on your laptop, what you generally do, you install MS Office. MS Office is application software. So this is a fine difference between these two types of softwares. Windows is also software, MS Office is also software, but one is system software, one is application software. So at this moment of time, we are talking about system softwares when we are talking about platforms. So there are a few challenges also when you go for platform delivery model. If you have opted for one vendor, he may dictate his own terms. Migration is not easy. Reliability and security risks are there. Interoperability issues are there. So these few heavy terms, you need not worry about it. Only thing is, yes, there are few challenges, but who provides it? Google provides it, Salesforce provides it, Workx provided, Windows Azure provided, Longjump, Cordesys provide. Lot of other vendors are also there, like AWS is there, and like that. So in that particular scenario, what will happen, that you will rent out those particular platforms. So two steps we have understood as of now. One is renting out the hardware infrastructure, renting out the platforms. So slowly and slowly we are moving to the next step. So when we talk about next scenario, when infrastructure and platform are available as a service, now company is fully focused on application development. Now company is starting to develop its own application. Now what happens, that when you are talking about application development, that application development will serve your business, serves your productivity, serves your operations at workplace. So that is where a lot of tools are to be used. So traditionally what happens, that is how you develop any given software. It may be in-house. If you purchase it from outside, you need to pay for licenses, then you need to deploy it, and then you need to move according to the market requirements. So challenges, when different tools are there, different softwares are there, reliability and security is a major problem. And side by side, you need to continuously improve that particular software to the next versions. That is how these issues are to be handled properly. How to handle? If someone can help me out, that okay, you need not develop the software, I will provide you. Someone will provide me. And that particular software can be HR or finance package or ERP or CRM, etc., etc., etc. And that someone will say that, okay, you need not worry about it. I will maintain it also. I'll give you the regular updates and I'll make sure that your software is up to date. And if you want to migrate from one solution to the other, I will help you out. That someone will own the migration part also. So your tension, your stress is gone. Is it possible? Answer is yes. Someone will provide the softwares as a service. That is how the third term is in picture. SaaS. So pick your own office suites, pick your own ERP modules, and benefits are you can leverage anything anywhere. You don't need to develop anything. You don't need to maintain anything. You don't need to maintain any licenses. You don't need to maintain any versions. And there is no hardware on your premise. That is what SaaS model is. So three concepts we have understood today. One is IaaS, infrastructure as a service, PaaS, platform as a service, software as a service, SaaS. So when we talk about SaaS, who provides? We do have Microsoft Office 365. We do have Zoho. We do have Google Apps. We do have Microsoft. We do have Salesforce. Lot of things. Lot of things are available. You do have NetSuite also. And when you talk about these three concepts, let us summarize it. So now the said company, the company which I was owning in the initial beginning, started with 100 employees and 5,000 customers. Now I have third party who is maintaining infrastructure, platform, and software. I don't need to manage anything. And those vendors will help me in maintaining those infrastructures, either it is hardware or software. So in that particular scenario, what happens that yes, three services, either it is IaaS or PaaS or SaaS. If these services are available through internet, it is nothing but cloud computing. This is the definition I wanted to share with you. So when you talk about cloud computing, so three aspects, three services, one is infrastructure, one is platform, one is software. If these three services are available through internet, it is cloud computing. This is the first definition of cloud computing. I hope it is making sense. Now, think from a very broad perspective. We are not going into the technicalities of the subject. We are just trying to understand the definitions. So that when definitions are clear, then we can start exploring these three blocks one by one. So definition of cloud computing given by NIST. NIST is National Institute of Standards and Technologies. We talked about NIST in other sessions also. So when we talk about NIST definition, cloud computing is a model for enabling convenient on-demand network access to a shared pool of configurable computing resources. Those resources are networks, servers, storage, application services that can be rapidly provisioned and released with minimum management effort or service provider interaction. Let me revisit the definition again. It is a model for convenient enabling of on-demand network access. On demand. When I demand, somebody will give me that particular access to a shared pool of configurable computing resources. Shared pool is available with, let us say, Amazon Web Services or Microsoft or Google. They have a shared pool of configurable computing resources available. As user, I'll go to AWS and ask for network, ask for server, ask for storage, ask for application and other services on rent. And I will pay per use. This is the beauty of cloud computing. So this is the industry perspective. Huge money is involved. If you recall, if some of your parents have worked in banking sector, some banks. In 1990s, when banking industry was getting automated, persons were getting replaced by computers. Similarly, in today's world, all infrastructure is getting replaced by cloud computing. So it is a huge market altogether. 2025, 330 billion, even more. And lot of companies are moving to cloud computing. So who are the providers? AWS is there, Microsoft is there, Google is there, IBM is there, Citrix is there, Rackspace is there, Salesforce is there. Very, very big players are there. Benefits: as organization, you are not owning anything. You are just paying the rent. This is the first major benefit. You can roll out applications faster because you don't need to manage the hardware. You don't need to manage the platform. You don't need to manage the softwares. So you can roll out your application faster, and multi-tenant environment is there. Multi-tenant means, let us say you are the customer for Google. I can be a customer also. So there are two tenants on the same data center. So multi-tenant environment is there, and I don't need to manage the infrastructure. Somebody else will manage the complexity. That is how the benefits of cloud computing is all about. So in nutshell, when I talk about characteristics of cloud computing: on-demand service, metered service. Metered means whatsoever I will use, I'll pay for it. Rapidly elastic. Rapidly elastic means today I need 10 servers, tomorrow 100, day after tomorrow 10,000, and fourth day again 100. So rapidly elastic. This is what cloud computing is all about. Broad network access is there and pooling of resources. And when we talk about service models, it is primarily three service models. One is infrastructure as a service, one is platform as a service, one is software as a service. That is how you can correlate the discussion we had during the last 15-20 minutes. And deployment model, either it can be public cloud or private cloud or hybrid cloud or community cloud. Let us talk about those things now. So service model. This is what we talked about: IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. These three things we have just talked about. And when we talk about deployment model, let us spend a couple of minutes on this. So first thing first, first deployment model is public cloud. When we talk about public cloud, it is owned by a cloud service provider, but available in public domain, like AWS. AWS, I can also go for, you can also go for, third person can also go for. It is a public place altogether. You need to pay for it and get the resources available for a particular duration. That is public cloud. Private, let us say Chitkara University has installed their own servers, own data center, and we are managing our own private cloud. That is how it is operated solely for an organization. Can exist either on-premise or off-premise. Mixed community. Community is primarily shared by various organizations, and hybrid, a mixture of these two, public and private. If a part of cloud is public cloud available in public domain, a part of cloud available on my premise, that is private, that is the mixture, hybrid. That is how those four deployment models work. Does it make sense? A little bit of higher frequency today. The session is of higher frequency today because a lot of technical jargons are being thrown at you. No worries, you need not worry about it, because that is how you will get to understand that yes, we can also explore cloud computing to our advantage if required. So the difference between traditional and cloud computing, when you talk about delivery model, traditional, you need to buy assets. That's what we talked about. But cloud, you need to buy services. not assets. So you need to buy service. Cost is capital in the case of traditional, but when you go for cloud, you pay per use. And if we talk about flexibility, it is a manual process if we talk about traditional. But on cloud, it is self-service. I'll just browse through their website, provision the servers. Well, ask, it is a self-service model, and I can get those machines immediately. And provision resources, traditionally it will take some time. Like I need to first order those things, then company will prepare that hardware, software, and then give it to me. Cloud, within minutes, I'll just log into their site, and within minutes, I can provision the resources. Devanshu is asking, what is my role in company if I am a cloud engineer? Very good question. When you are a cloud engineer in, let us say, this particular organization we are talking about, so you need to manage few things. Either you need to manage one of the service model. There are 3 service models. One is IaaS, PaaS, SaaS, or you need to manage any of the cloud, whether it is public cloud or private cloud or hybrid cloud. So this is the broad periphery, right? We'll talk about this thing in next few minutes. And scalability. Let us say I need to increase from 100 pieces to 500 pieces. I need to order it. It will be a manual process. But when it is cloud computing, I can tell the cloud service provider that, okay, if my load increases, add on more servers. If my load decreases, release those servers. So it can be elastic also. Very, very good option altogether. So some scenarios. When we talk about some scenarios, when to use cloud. Let us say you need to follow green computing, green field. Green field means very less carbon dioxide emission. In that particular scenario, you are not using anything, you are just using the services. That is where the first use case of cloud computing deployment. Let us say next, a cloud busting scenario. Cloud busting scenario. Let me take the example. Yesterday or day during last session, we talked about CBSE website when we were talking about SQL injections. So let us say CBSE is going to announce result of 10 plus 2 on 5th of Feb. Till 4th of Feb, there will be very less traffic on CBSE website. But on 5th of Feb, there will be huge number of users trying to access the website. That is where cloud busting will come into picture. Cloud computing will help me to handle that situation, because till 4th of Feb, what I will do, I will just rent out 1 or 2 servers. On 5th of Feb, I will provision, let us say 100 servers to handle the complete load, one by one, like 4, then 5th, then 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, up to 99. That is how you will provision the elastic cloud. So that is how we use cloud computing. Some myths. First thing is, cloud computing is always virtual. This is a myth. No, it can be on campus also. Cloud computing requires you to expose your data to outside world. This is a big myth. You can control your data. You can encrypt your data. And third, and the very critical myth, cloud computing will always save you money. Answer is no. It will not always save you money. But yes, some cases, answer is yes. Some cases, answer is no. Certain challenges: data security and privacy, ownership, control, reliability, and then compliance. Those few things are challenges, because if some of you are following European data standards, European countries have made one particular rule that whatsoever data is generated within the European countries, you cannot take that data outside. You need to manage that particular data there only. That is where data security, privacy, ownership, control, reliability, and performance will come into picture. So a lot of things are there as far as challenges are concerned. People are working on it slowly and slowly. When you will barge into cloud computing, you will understand those things. Benefits, that's what we talked about. So this is where we have cloud in our daily life. Your YouTube, your Facebook, your Insta, your Dropbox, your Skybus, your LinkedIn, anything and everything is deployed on cloud. So these are the opportunities for Indian players, IAS, PAS, and SAS. When you talk about these opportunities, Indian players are coming up very fast. I'm talking about cloud service providers, and that is where eventually you will get opportunities to work with them. So thank you. So there's a brief outline of cloud computing we talked about. I hope it was a very absorbing session. You must have understood what is cloud computing. That was the intention of today's session. I would request everybody to put your queries across to me through chat window if there are any. Okay. So any question, students? So Sahil says, out of all these, you told which area have more scope? If you ask me my personal opinion, I'll go for SAS. SAS has a major scope because IAS and PAS are very, very niche things and requires huge investment. But SAS, it can be done very quickly. So I would suggest you to explore SAS more often. Once you ask how many cloud engineers our college had produced yet, every year a batch of 50 to 100 are graduating out from our university. And for long term, answer is yes, cloud security. If you are talking about long term, Sahil, this is the answer to your question. Divanshu says, okay. One and the only question, package of good cloud engineers. Huge one, Devanshu, because nowadays companies are paying like anything, but you need to be technically very strong. You need to get at least one certification of global standard, either AWS or Microsoft Azure or Google. AWS has the most demanding salary packages available in the industry. Next question comes, how about you build a server focused on schools in India? If we want to build our own server cloud, where should we start from? Very good question. When you want to start and when I would suggest you to start exploring how to build a private cloud. That is a starting point. That is a starting point. When you talk about how to build a private cloud, that will give you a confidence that yes, all the services are being taken care of, and then slowly you can expose that cloud from private to public and go on serving the customers across the globe. That is the answer to your question. So next question comes, out of all these fields like data science, AI, cloud computing, what's the main common subject and which field is growing in long term? If you talk about a common subject, I'll mention 4 or 5. One thing is you need to be very good in a given operating system, either Linux or Windows, up to administration level. Second, you need to be very good in one programming language. language, either Java or Python. You need to be good in DBMS, database management system. One database management system is you should go for. Fourth, computer networks. You should be very good at computer networks. Fifth, data structures. These are the 5 common subjects. If you master, you can definitely move to any of the given new technologies. So this is the starting point. And slowly you can move into data science or AI or cloud or IoT or cybersecurity after getting hands-on comfort level on these 4 or 5 subjects. Make sense? Maths, definitely yes, it is a base. I'm not counting maths altogether at your graduation level because the base of maths is built till 10+2. Engineering first year and second year, you will learn the advanced concepts altogether. So maths, definitely yes, it is a horizontal thing you should be good at. Good. Anything else, friends? Now, what we will do next during the upcoming semester, after you complete your NTEM examinations and all that, on a weekly or fortnightly basis, we'll spend half an hour to 45 minutes on your weekends, where we are going to talk about case studies of these technologies in the coming semester, so that you get a hang of it, that how people are using artificial intelligence, how organizations are implementing data science, how organizations are benefiting from IoT or cybersecurity is important or not. That is how we are going to do in your second semester, so that you are always in touch with new advancements. And somewhere I would request some of you to come forward and share those use cases with the group. So certain sessions, I would request some of you will be delivering for the class. So this is what is stored for you when you just join second semester, starting mid of Feb, right? So I'll send more details on this, and side by side will involve each and everybody. It will be only on interest base. It will not be mandatory altogether, because you see, we have around 300+ students in the class, but around 100 type attend regularly these sessions. So next sessions during the second semester will be only for those who are interested, not mandatory. And that is where we are going to exchange knowledge. We are going to exchange our thoughts. We are going to exchange our learnings, so that as a group, we evolve to the next level. So that is the plan for the next semester. Okay. Thanks, friends. Looking forward to the second semester, and I wish you all the best for your NTEM examination. Do well and come out with flying colors.
Thank you, sir.
Chalo, badhiya, first class. Take care and do well in your exams. And see you in the last week of Feb. Third or last week of the Feb. Thank you. Bye-bye.